Yo. Welcome in, man. Today is May the 27th. Welcome into the WNBA ChrisBeCappinn Show. We have a bunch of games. This is the most games we've had on the board for today. So we'll try to rip through these really quickly. We'll try to get through them really quickly. We'll jump into a quick recap of yesterday's games. Well, yesterday we didn't have any games. Yesterday was Memorial Day. But on Sunday, we had, I think, 4 games. And I only made one bet. It ended up being a sweaty winner. We thought that the Vegas Aces would go into Seattle and, potentially not cover the spread, but the Seattle's defense was going to be able to slow them down. They did. So 1-0 day on Sunday, 0.75 unit play brings us to 8-4, up almost 2.5 units on the season, making these very small plays. That was it. Like a bunch of games on the board for today. So let's just jump into it for today. Good morning, Prolific. What up, Lil Jet? Says good morning. Good morning to our lover. Says go Mercury. We will talk about all of those. So let's get into jaXon. Forgot what jaXon was on Sunday, if I'm being honest. I have no idea. I'm honestly not even gonna try to think too hard about it. I can't remember what it was, but I feel like jaXon's been doing pretty good with player props in the WNBA, especially as more data is starting to become available. Most of these teams have played 4 or 5 games. So jaXon, for people who don't know, is an AI sports betting tool that you can utilize for real insight, player prop size, totals, over unders, you name it. You can find pretty much everything over on jaXon. So I like to use it for player props on the show specifically. Today's prop, and I'll just give you guys one. We'll go with the prompt is what is the best WNBA player prop on the board for today. And jaXon likes Brianna Jones over her 10.5 rebounds plus 100 over on BetMGM. Says she's been dominant on the boards, averaging 13 rebounds per game. She's hit the over this line in 100% of her games this season. The Los Angeles Sparks ranked poorly in rebounding, making this a favorable matchup for Jones to continue her strong rebounding performance. The overvalue at plus 100 on this line offers excellent value for a player who has consistently exceeded this mark. So take Brianna Jones over her 10.5 rebounds is what jaXon likes today. I'll write that down and follow it. Not like play it, but because I don't really have any strong opinions on Bree Jones. But I'll write it down so we can recap it for tomorrow's games. Bree Jones over 10.5 boards is what jaXon likes. Just jump into it for today. So first game we got up is, and I think these lines have moved, so I do need to go in here and change a couple of these. I made most of these graphics yesterday. So we got the Valkyries and the New York Liberty. This has changed a lot. So 16.5 is the spread now. And the total has come plummeting down, which is the way definitely the way I wanted to bet this. I agree with the market pushing this one down. So real quick, let me just double check injury reports, make sure I got everything correct. I think I do, and we're going to fly through these games today. So on the Golden State Valkyries injury report, Tiffany Hayes is listed as questionable due to that nose injury. She did not play in the last game. Monique Billings is also listed as questionable. Xander Cilius continues to be out. She has not made her debut with the Golden State Valkyries. And then on the New York Liberty side of things, Nair Sabali is the only person on the injury report. She's listed as questionable with a right knee injury. And she didn't play in that game against the Indiana Fever on Saturday either. So, I mean, that's a lot of offense for this Golden State team. We look at the Valkyries in general. First game on the East Coast. They are 2-1 straight up and against the spread so far this season. All 3 of their games have gone under, and it's because their offense has really, really struggled to score the basketball. The Liberty, on the other hand, 2-1 straight up and against the number as well. 3-0 to the over, so something's going to have to give in this game. These 2 teams do play again on Friday in New York. I think that's important to mention. Sometimes it's easier to kind of stay away from game 1 and then bounce back and play game 2 based on what you expect as far as regression or progression in the following game. This line has moved, and like I said, it was up to 17. It's come down to 15.5. To 16. I'm not sure how much the Liberty care about this game. I feel like they kind of got the game that they wanted to get out. A couple games that they wanted to get out the way. I think there was a big win on opening night against the Aces. And then I don't think they really cared as much about the Chicago game. They just blew Chicago out. And then it was a big, primetime standalone game on Saturday. So the Valkyries are a very, very scrappy team. They're not great offensively, but this is a big number to lay. I can't lay this many points with the Liberty. Can they win by this many points? Absolutely. And if Malik Billings and Tiffany Hayes don't play, they probably will end up blowing out the Valkyries. But to give me hesitation, I remember the Liberty betting on them, in these type of matchups in these spots last year. They didn't do well. They were 2-10 against the spread as a double-digit favorite last season, a double-digit home favorite last season, 7-5 to the over. So as much as I expect, the Valkyries offense to struggle, I couldn't get there with this number. It'd be under nothing for me. This was all the way up. I think I saw 169.5. That's the way I probably should have bet it. Golden State's defense is a bit underrated in my opinion. They are second best defensive rated team, holding teams to just 77 points, which is the third fewest. And their offense is terrible. They're 11th in offensive rating, and they're 11th in effective field goal percentage. So the way I thought about, potentially playing this game was probably just a look towards like Jacquel Jones over her rebounds. I feel like if it's not a blowout, Jacquel should have a pretty big game. I think she could dominate, pretty much do whatever it is that she wants to do in this type of game. So her rebound prop, real quick, I'll pull it up so you guys can see it real quick, and then we'll get over to the comments and get to the next game. Her rebound prop for today is 8.5. You can see it here. This is Outlier, of course. You guys can check this out. 7-day free trial link in the description. She's coming off a 12 rebound game against the Indiana Fever. Only 7 against Chicago, but they did blow Chicago out, as you can see, 99-74. She only played 21 minutes in that game. And against the Aces, she played 30 minutes and finished with 10 boards. So if I think the Valkyries are going to struggle, to rebound the basketball, if I think they're going to miss a lot of shots, and it's not even necessarily said that they're going to struggle to rebound the ball. But Jacquel Jones is one of the better, rebounders in the WNBA. So that's the way that I would probably be playing this game if I was going to play it. Jacquel rebounds, maybe her to get 10 rebounds and a win or something like that. I don't know what you can get the line at, but that's the only way that I would be looking. I can't lay this many points with the Liberty. The books, they priced me out at 16.5. They could easily get a backdoor cover in this game. Maybe you bet it live though. Let's see. Adam says shout out to the Dream for helping me cash some blunt money bets. Adam says the Liberty at the half -9. It depends. If they come out and want to punch the Valkyries in the mouth, I think they absolutely can. The one thing we got to remember about the Valkyries is that, they haven't played against an elite team yet, right? It's a couple of different variables. I thought about all this already. The Valkyries hasn't played against an elite team. They played the Sparks twice, which the Sparks are not elite. And then they played the Washington Mystics. And that was the Mystics, first game on the West Coast as well. So now it's their first game on the East Coast. I'm not sure. Like the Liberty absolutely are 10 points better than the Valkyries in my opinion, especially if those young ladies don't play for the Valkyries. But that's just my thought process. Adam says sounds like a sleepy spot for New York. Give me the 16.5. Lane says 8.5 boards is an interesting play in that game. Good call, Chris. It's the only thing that I would play, Lane. All right, let's move over to the next one, which is the Wings and the Sun. This line opened. I missed it, man. I did miss it. I apologize for this one. This line opened at 2 in favor of the Road Wings. So we start with the injury report here. I think there was somebody. Yeah, so Misha Hans-Allen is on it for the Dallas Wings. She's truly listed as game time decision. She is questionable with an ankle injury. And then on the Connecticut side of things, Lindsey Allen, I think I saw that Lindsey Allen, so she missed the last game. She is listed as, I think, game time decision. We'll see if she plays or not. I think she does impact the offense for the, absolutely impacts the offense for the Connecticut Sun. They could not score the basketball against the Atlanta Dream, even with the Dream on the second leg of a back-to-back. So these are probably, two of the worst teams in the WNBA. Dallas has a lot more talent, though. But both teams are winless. Dallas is 0-4 straight up, 1-3 against the number, but they're laying points on the road, which tells you a lot about how bad Connecticut is, in my opinion. Connecticut is 0-4 straight up, 1-3 against the number. Both of their home games they failed to cover to start the season. This is their first game back home after a 2-game road trip, and they are at a 1-day rest disadvantage. They're 3-1 to the under because their offense stinks. Man, it's difficult for me to want to lay points. I can't lay points with the Wings either. I can't lay a lot of points with the Wings. For them to have to win by 2 possessions when Enrique Gumbawale is out there just terrifies me, man. I can't lay that big of a number If I could have got the 2, yes, I do feel like they're much better. I do think that they get their first win. When I was looking into the database, road favorites with 0 wins after game 3. So you're expected to win a game even though you're winless on the road after game 3. They are perfect 3-0 straight up and against the spread in the Give Me the Dog database. So that does point to Dallas. 4.5 feels like too many for me, though. It feels like too many. I know Connecticut stinks. Like I said, they absolutely stink. I just can't get there. And one of the biggest reasons is Dallas last season, they were favorites 10 times. They went 3-7 straight up, 1-9 against the number last season. Like, I can't lay with Dallas, man. 3-7 straight up as a favorite last season, 1-9 against the number. As a road favorite, they were 0-4. They were 4 times they were favorites on the road. They went 0-4 straight up and against the number in those 4 games. And I remember Dallas being that type of team last season. So they're gonna have to prove it to me. I can't take Connecticut either, though. This game easily kept me off. As far as props go, Paige Beckers is back near University of Connecticut where she played her college basketball. That's interesting in my opinion. If she plays, her full allotment of minutes, which we didn't see in the Atlanta game because the starters got benched, I think she could have a big game. Connecticut doesn't scare me at all, offensively or defensively. So maybe a look towards Dallas team total over or nothing at all would be the way that I'll be playing this game. 82.5, I think, is the team total. That's the only way that I would be able to play this one. Let's see. Mark says Golden State still too many unknowns. Stay off. That's a fact. I love it. Says I'll stay off this game. My 1-800-GAMBLER game. Yeah, I'm fact right there with you. Mark says small play on the under 160.5. So as far as pace goes, these two teams will try to push the pace up and down the floor. If I go over to my numbers real quick and run it, let's just look at this real quick. So we look at Dallas and we look at Connecticut. Connecticut's offense is the second worst in the WNBA. They average 68 points per game. They give up 83. So they are minus net 19.9. So pretty much a minus 20 in net rating. But the Dallas Wings are minus 9.5 in net rating. They average 77.8 points per game, which is 8th in the WNBA. And they give up 86.5. So we're talking about 2 terrible offenses and 2 terrible defenses. It's really difficult. 11th and 12th defensively and 10th and 12th offensively. Maybe it is an underplay. I think I would want to try to find a way to play Dallas. I can't get there, though. Best of luck, Mark, on this under 160.5, man. I can't quite get there on anything. Next game up, the Storm and the Lynx. This game opened with the Minnesota Lynx laying, I think it was 6.5. Yeah, 6.5 is now up to 7. Total open 156.5 is moved up to 157.5 now. So a little bit of money coming in on the over. We look at the injury report. I think Seattle still has, let me just confirm, a clean injury report. They do. And the Minnesota Lynx do potentially they should get Kayla McBuckets back. She's listed as probable only due to reconditioning because she has not played in any of the 4 games that the Minnesota Lynx have played so far. So this is going to be a really good game. I do think this game will be good. Seattle comes into this game 3-1 straight up and against the number. The only game that they lost and didn't cover was that first game against Phoenix where we were on them in that game and they kind of laid an egg. They're coming off a really big win at home, of course, against the Las Vegas Aces where they smoked them from start to finish. Ended up with 100 points, I think, in that game. And then on the Minnesota side of things, they come in 4-0 straight up. They're 0-2 against the number at the crib, though. We did back them against Connecticut, and they just couldn't make a shot to save their lives in that game. They played 3 straight unders, in fact. And all of those came after going over in their first game against the Dallas Wings in Dallas on opening night. So it's not a phase spot for Minnesota. Much as I talk about not liking Minnesota and how much they don't cover at home, I think that they probably saw what Seattle was able to do to Las Vegas. They're going to take this team pretty serious. I still lean towards Seattle, though. The reason why I don't quite want to get there is because I know Seattle can struggle on the road. We just saw them struggle against Phoenix, and Phoenix, in my opinion, is not in the same tier as Minnesota. That game was on the road, so it could be a bit of a letdown spot for Seattle here. The Minnesota Lynx, it is their 3rd straight home game, and I think their next game is at home too. I got to go back and look at that, but it's a difficult game. I think if I had to bet it, though, I would be taking the points with Seattle. We'll see what this line closes at. If I could get a plus 7.5, I think it is a potential backdoor cover for Seattle. I'm expecting a lot of defense to be played in this game as well. My first thought process was actually on the under. Seattle is the 4th best defensive rated team. They're allowing just 76 points per game, which is 2nd in the WNBA. Minnesota is sixth in defensive rating. They're allowing just 77.5 points, which is fourth in the WNBA. Both teams play bottom third as far as pace goes. So I thought about maybe even a first half under as well as they get acclimated to each other. I do think that Seattle has, some bodies to throw at Nafisha Collier, and if Bridget, if Courtney Williams' shot is not falling like it wasn't against the Connecticut Sun, they could really, really struggle. Seattle does a really good job of taking away the three-point shot. We talked about that against the Aces in the last game. Minnesota likes to spread the floor, shoot a bunch of threes as well. So I lean Seattle plus the points, man. I also lean towards the under in this game if I'm playing anything. But Seattle's offense is a lot better. Even the defense is a lot better at home than it is on the road. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. I did see that they're putting up more first quarter props, Adam. Justin says, appreciate the show. Appreciate you for tapping in as always, Justin. Adam says, this is the best game on the card, in my opinion. I got to take the points. Just hope the Storm show up. And that's a fact. It could be a little bit of a letdown spot for the Storm after beating the Aces the way that they did. They have been owned by the Aces for such a long time. Don't like that they got to travel to Minnesota and Minnesota third straight home game. Minnesota also haven't covered back-to-back games. So that makes it a little scary in my opinion. But I think I have to take the points with Seattle as well. Me says Seattle's so phony on the road, but Lynx don't care to cover. Tough to call, and I kind of agree with that, man. I want to see Seattle prove it a little bit on the road. I've seen them, look like the best team in the WNBA against the Aces, and then I also see them absolutely wet the bed. I'm talking about through the mattress pad and everything, against the Phoenix Mercury without Kalia Copper in that first game. So I kind of agree with Meech here. JP says bet on Isaiah Collier. Bet on feet, Nafisha Collier to get 8 boards. Seattle should be a good rebounding team, man. Neka and Ezzy and Malunga off the bench. They got some bigs, man. So Fee's a great rebounder. She should have her hands full tonight. She's great. She's elite. My favorite player to watch. She probably gonna end up drawing, Ezzy or they may even put Gabby Williams on her. I still bet Seattle plus the points though. All right, let's see what we have next. We have the Atlanta Dream and the Los Angeles Sparks. And I bet this one. I bet the Sparks, and this line now is gone. I didn't even get the best of the number. This says plus 2.5. The Sparks are now laying 1.5. So I got the worst of the number. But I'm still comfortable with the bet. So total was 165.5. It's down to 163.5. And just to be simple in this game. So we start with the injury report. Julie Alaman, I think is how you pronounce her name, is listed as probable for the Sparks. Let me just double check and make sure. I also wrote down that Rickea Jackson is listed as probable. She should return after missing, I want to say 1 or 2 games. No Cameron Brink, no Ray Burrell, of course. Adding Rickea Jackson back to the lineup, I think is going to be big for this Sparks team. Pau is off the injury report as well. She ended up getting hurt in that last game against the Connecticut Sun on Sunday. But then Brittany Griner is out. She missed the last game on Sunday as well. She's going to be out, and I think that's why this line started to swing. Atlanta Dream took care of Connecticut with no problem in that last game, but even with Brittany Griner, being rolled out. So on the Atlanta side of things, this is a really good team. I wouldn't say really good, but they are good. They've been impressive so far, in my opinion. They're 3-2 straight up, 1-1 against the number. However, one of the reasons I like the Sparks and the reason why I bet the Sparks, I just took them on the money line, is because this is 4th game in 6 nights. We remember seeing it was the second leg of back-to-back, 3rd game in 4 nights in the last week when they were playing their games. So not only is it 3rd game in 4 nights and 4th game in 6 nights, it's also a lot of travel. When you think about being all the way in the bottom of the East Coast in Atlanta, having to travel all the way to LA, it's not the greatest travel spot for the Atlanta Dream. And you're going to be shorthanded without Brittany Griner. I look at this Sparks offense. Not that they've been great. They only 2-3 straight up, 3-2 against the number. But I do think they bounce back against the Golden State Valkyries in their last game, 91-78 win over Chicago on Sunday. Also their 3rd straight home game. So you got one team traveling from Atlanta to LA. You got another team that's been at the crib for 3 straight games and need all the wins that they can get. And they get Rickea Jackson back. No Brittany Griner. I bet the Sparks on the money line. That number is still available. -1.5 is still available everywhere. The pivot, I think, will probably be, a Sparks team total up and over. I do think that this game's going to be played with pace. When I look at the Sparks offense, it's been relatively good. I put it in the write-up that I sent out to the members last night. They are 2nd in offensive rating through their first 5 games. fourth in points per game scored, and they're fifth in effective field goal percentage. So the Sparks offense should be able to score. I think the Dream run out of gas late in this game, especially with it being a 4th and 6 without Brittany Griner. So that's my play, and actually my play of the day. Only thing that I played so far. I love it. Says, yeah, I'll take the Sparks. Brittany Griner is already rolled out. I love us. Collier is an absolute dog. My dog. Shout out to Fee, man. All right, let's move over to the last one. Not a lot of comments. Last one is the Sky and the Chicago Sky and the Phoenix Mercury. Game be played in Phoenix, which is always a home court advantage for them. They have the X Factor out there. And for this game, as far as the injury report goes, Mariah Jefferson listed as game time decision for the guard for the Chicago Sky. I think she missed the last game. And then Haley Van Wyth is also listed as game time decision as well. She's questionable. And that means a lot, in my opinion, in this game. So we look at the Chicago Sky. This is probably the second worst team in the WNBA. I mean, they're absolutely getting smoked pretty much in every way possible. Real quick, let's just go to my numbers real quick. I forgot to write this down last night. But if I go look at the Chicago Sky from an offensive and defensive perspective, the Sky they're the worst offensive rated team, 84.3 offensive rating. The worst defensive team, 114.1 defensive rating. Worst net rating, negative 29.8. Only averaging 70 points per game, which is the third fewest, and giving up 94.3 points per game, which is the most in the WNBA. They're the second worst team far as shooting the basketball. They get to the free throw line at the lowest rate, and they also turn the ball over more than any other team. But they are number one at offensive rebounding rate. So we'll see if We'll see if Phoenix can, kind of keep them off the boards. I feel like Phoenix can. They've actually been a pretty good rebounding team this season. They also forcing the most turnovers. Like I see that this line is coming back down from 7.5 to 7. I don't know, man. I don't know. I would be only looking towards Phoenix. Maybe let it keep coming down. Only looking towards Phoenix in this spot. I didn't bet this game though, but that's the only way I'm looking. I think until Chicago shows me something, I can't bet on them, man. Also, Chicago team total under 74.5 was another way I'm thinking about playing this. Maybe even Chicago first half team total is 36.5. These were two leans that I had. They're averaging just 34 points in the first half so far. Chicago hasn't hit their team total in any of their games so far. They're averaging just 70 points per game. And like I said, the team total is 74.5. When I look at the pace that Phoenix is playing with, they're not playing fast. They're actually playing at the second slowest pace in the WNBA so far this season. But if Chicago is going to play fast, which they're third in pace, Phoenix should be able to score the basketball as well. So it's not that difficult of a game. I don't know. I don't know. As far as player props in this game, real quick, if we go back over, there was one that I was looking at in this game as well. We go back over, we look at Outlier again real quick. Courtney Vandersloot would be the player that I would be betting on in this game. Always talk about how I compare her to Al Horford. So if we look at Courtney, this is exactly what I want to play. Her assists under, right? So the line is 5.5 right now. She is under in all 3 games so far this season. You can see that she did have 5 against Indiana. That's a fast-paced team. New York is a fast-paced team. She finished with just 3. And they got blowout in this game. She only played 24 minutes. And then she only had 2 against the Sparks, who was not a good defense. And she played 35 minutes in that game. Like I said, this offense is just not good, man. So under in all 3 games, even though her minutes have slightly increased in these 2 games. If Haley Van Wyth does play, this will probably be something that I will play, because I think that Tyler Marsh, the coach for the Chicago Sky, they really do enjoy her being out there. She'll produce less assist opportunities for somebody like Courtney Vandersloot as well. Phoenix allows the 4th fewest assists as well, and I just told you guys that this Chicago offense just isn't gelling right now. So I would be betting on Courtney Vandersloot to go under her assist prop if I'm betting anything in this game. I haven't pulled the trigger on that quite yet, because as I mentioned, I kind of want to see what happens with Haley. If Haley plays, then I'll be on the under on her assists. Phoenix should win this game. I'm not sure what the line is dropping. They should cover the spread. Maybe even a look towards their team total to go over as well. Their offense hasn't been great, but if we just look at it, they are the 9th in offensive rating. They are 9th in points per game scored as well, averaging 77, only giving up 71. And like I said, Chicago's offense is only averaging 70. So I'm not sure if they get to 75 today. Phoenix is actually number one defensive rated team. Makes sense with Alyssa Thomas being there. So yeah, it'd be Chicago team total under, Phoenix minus the 7, the ways that I would play this game. Let's see what you guys are thinking. We'll jump into a quick recap. This is the last game on the board for today. Chicago Sky sucks so bad. He says they do. They do, man. Adam says, give me Reese over her points plus rebounds. They're feeding her. Okay. Dom says hot take, but the Sky need to move on from Angel Reese. That's a hot take. I love it. Says go Mercury. Mark says I tell LA money line. Thanks, Chris. Let's cash it, Mark. Need it. Bitsy says Mercury minus 7. Put it in his pocket. Sky or dog water. Build around Cardoso. Those two bigs won't work. They can't spread the floor enough, Downs, which is why their offense stinks, in my opinion. Mark says he laid the 7 with Phoenix. I would only be looking that way. Adam says I've been reading a lot of articles about Reese Cardoso beef. I haven't seen any of those. I need you to DM them to me on Twitter, Adam, because I've been looking for them. I haven't seen that. Adam says coach says they need to get Cardoso the ball more so she can shoot more. She did score 12 points in that last game. We talked about that against the Sparks, right? Her points probably was sitting at 9.5. She went over pretty easily. I think it was in the third quarter as well. Mark says Vandersloot found the youth. I wouldn't think so. Dom says I got talked out of taking Sloop under 5.5 assists last game, and she ended with 2. I'm playing it today. Yeah, I think so. I think we jump on it for sure. All right, so quick recap here, right? We talked about all of these. One thing that I did play was Sparks on the money line. I talked about why I like Golden State, New York. The under 164, like I said, I will wait on the injury report because I think that going back to that game, I think the Valkyries offense really struggles to score if Tiffany Hayes and Monique Billings does not score. I think they also struggle to rebound the basketball. So I would think under, even though we're missing, 4 or 5 points of value already, you can get a 164.5 out there as well. So definitely if you play the under, wait on the injury report, in my opinion, and then play it under if it goes up, especially if those two young ladies don't play, Monique Billings and Tiff Hayes. Dallas team total over 82.5. It's just really predicated on, thinking that Connecticut can play a little bit faster. I'm not even sure if Dallas will need to score 82.5 points, 83 points to win this game versus Connecticut. Connecticut offense is so bad. I don't see any semblance of them, playing good offense at all. Seattle, Minnesota under, maybe even first half under. Seattle plus the points would also be my recommendation for that game. Like I said, I know that they, wet the bed at times on the road, but Minnesota has shown that they can, win by margin at the crib so far. So I would be looking towards Seattle. And then Chicago team total under 74.5, 75.5. I think it's still some 75s and a halves out there. Would be the way that I would be playing. I would also be laying the points with Phoenix, but we'll see what the line comes down to. Minus, I think you can get a 6.5 right now if you got Circa. So these would be the ways that I would play. Also, I talked about Jacquel Jones as well, over her 8.5 rebounds for the Liberty. So yeah, these would be the ways that I would be playing, man. Only one thing that I've locked in so far. Best of luck on whatever it is you guys are playing. If you want my official looks when I play them, use the link in the description to sign up. You'll receive them via email when I make them. Check out the resources. I use all of these to cap the WNBA along with the NBA, jaXon, Outlier, Moneyballer, OddsJam. And there's a link in the description for sportsbooks signups as well if you guys are interested and need a new sportsbook. Best of luck on whatever you guys are playing today, man. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I will catch you guys tomorrow. We got the Fever and the Washington Mystics in DC. Enjoy your day, man. I'm out.